Thank you, Connor, for having me. It's an honor to be here and just share a little bit from my heart. I don't have very much time, so I just prayed and asked the Lord, what is it you want me to share? And honestly, as I've gone around the city and started to meet different constituents and citizens, one of the number one questions that's asked of me is, why are you running? And people probably ask me that because it's a little odd that I'm running because I'm a pastor's wife. You may not know that, but I think I might be one of the only pastor's wives that have ever run for office, maybe in our area. And so people are inquisitive about that. They want to know why. And so I just want to tell you that story. And so for me, we moved to Cookeville almost 10 years ago, and we fell in love with this town when my husband became the pastor at Stephen Street. And we both said to each other, we don't ever want to live anywhere else. We love this place. We hope our children stay here forever. We hope our grandchildren stay here forever. And we just fell in love with this area. I love my church. I'm a homeschool mom of 6 children. And thank you, Miss Natisha. And I just, we just planned to be here. And so, but I have a great life. I love living here. I have great circles of friends. But about 2 years ago, many of you might be familiar with the Christmas parade debacle that happened here in Cookeville. And that really what I would call it almost an awakening for me. Because I live in such a great city and I have such a great church family, I have such a great homeschool circle. I think I had been living a little bit in a bubble, that everything in my life was great and that everybody believes like me and thinks like me. But suddenly I realized that's not true. There's a lot of ideologies that are slipping into our city that's coming in, and I don't agree with them at all. And that led me to joining a prayer group in my town called One Name. And they are made up of multi-denominations, people from different churches. And when I joined that group, I was even more awakened, I feel like. I began to just hear them tell story after story of over the years of how God has protected our city from things through prayer. And they began to reveal to me more and more things that were coming up in our community. And of course, we knew a big election season was coming up, and we began to pray. And I began to pray, Lord, raise up people to run for office. Raise up people that worship you, that follow you, that believe in the word. And in that process of praying for those people, God said, I'm talking to you. And I didn't want to hear it at first, I promise. I've got a lot on my plate, and I did not want to hear it. But it's like the Lord just kept sending affirmation and confirmation of what he was saying to me. And so then I approached my husband because I could not choose to do this without his support. And we actually spent time together praying and fasting over this decision. And so through that prayer and fasting, we really felt a peace from the Lord that this is what he wanted for me to do, is to step up and run. And so I can tell you that I know that my heart behind all of this has first come from the Lord, but I care about protecting the soul of our city. And that is my mission behind all of this. And with that Christmas parade debacle, I'm not going to let our churches be hung out to dry. And I hope that I can represent them well and, of course, represent the Lord well as I serve, or I hope to serve. I need your vote to get me there. So I ask if you live in the city, or even if you live in the county, as I tell everybody who lives in the county, tell your city friends to please vote. But even if you live in the county and you want to get involved in my campaign, I'll put you to work. I promise. You can ask some of these people in the red shirts. They're already working. But I'll end with this scripture that the Lord just gave me over the weekend when I was having my quiet time and asked me to share it yesterday, or I felt like he told me to share it yesterday in my campaign kickoff, and it comes out of Galatians 6. And it says, and do not grow weary. Let us not grow weary of doing good. And in due season, we will reap if we do not give up. And so my goal is to not grow weary. I don't know if anybody saw the Great Awakening movie. Did anybody see that? There was one line in it, I thought, man, that was good. Benjamin Franklin looks over and says, how are you feeling in this work? And Whitfield says, I'm weary in it, but not of it. And I thought, man, I feel that because this is heavy. It's heavy to take on this responsibility, but I know with the Lord that if we don't give up, we will reap in the season. Thank you.